so good.
Yeah, so the changes in this build are, one thing is progressive pricing on the movable units. So the prices go up. The more you have, the more it costs to build an additional one. That's one change. These are changes that are under evaluation in this build. These aren't like we're going to have them for sure. These are just evaluation changes. The other change is that the each tower has an efficiency. When it's very close to the lab, it's 100% efficient, works just like it has in all previous builds. As it gets further away, the efficiency drops. So he's clicked on one right now, it says 61% efficiency. It's because of its distance from the lab. So it doesn't yield the same amount, even with a full soylent area. It will only yield 61% compared to what it used to. And there's a slight change in the green color. It gets darker green the less efficient it is. The other changes, well, one change in this build, it doesn't apply to this map because it's so small, but as the map gets bigger, the overall efficiency of the towers drops. So towers intrinsically produce less energy on larger maps. That's another change that's under eval. And then the last change is, if you look in the top left, there is, under the gen, it says 6.5 out of 20. So he's making 6.5 energy, same number that you've seen in the demo, but that 20 means that it's capped at 20. So the cap doesn't matter right now because he's only making 6.5, but even as he expands, he won't be able to go past 20 for his production, even if he has the reactors and and soylent to do it. And there's a new unit in order to expand that. It's in the structure menu, and it's called a transformer. And there's no reason for him to build one right now, but that will increase that generation cap. So that's a summary of the changes that are being evaluated.
I guess at one level, what it will do is it'll force you to sort of use a mix of weapons.
They're cheaper.
At some level, a cannon is going to end up being cheaper than a mortar, so you're going to be trying your best to use the most effective weapon. I'm being flagged. You were right about it.
Yeah, it's a buffer, and when the buffer is full, it becomes a plane that it just runs across.
That's where I run to, yeah. Oh, wow, there. Seriously?
Yeah.
So,
Someone asked if the transformer will increase soylent efficiency around itself. That's an interesting idea. It does not right now. It purely raises the generation cap. But the idea that it might increase the efficiency of nearby soylent is not a bad idea. It's not the cheapest thing in the world to calculate, maybe. Towers intrinsically know their network path distance from the lab. That's just part of the algorithm. When it crawls the graph, it does a breadth first search, and I keep track of path distances and all that. So that's how towers know their network distance from the lab. Factoring in transformers into that might be interesting. If it's done sort of as the crow flies, a straight Euclidean straight line distance, that would be the cheaper way to do it. Basically, boost any tower near a transformer to 100%. I don't know. I'll think about that. It's interesting.
did you have a place anywhere to put your gun portal?
I did. I mean, when I played, I was in a different configuration. I ended up putting it up there, and then move that thing out of the way.
I guess I could put it.
Yeah, I put it in the valley. Yeah, that's where I put my factory.
I hate putting the factory in the lowest place.
Yeah, because it's a big
This
liability.
haven't earned.
And that area is going to get flooded because you've got creeper coming around the backside of the mesa that you've just moved the inhibitor off of. If it comes around that backside, you lose that hole.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
depends.
trying to get some other weapons to come online here. I really need to stop this here.
Right now, now you could you can
Oh, what did I lose? Cannon. Oh, that's not fair. Damn. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
yeah, well, your cannon that's earned, you might have to back him up a level. I don't know if he's in trouble where he sits or if he'll hold that position. Um, you can pause the game and then um, I think it's page up toggles between the old pricing or the old economy and the new economy. So if you just press that, it will go from distance based. So you can use that to see what is your energy gap between the old model and the current model. You're at 7.9 right now, but I bet you'd have a good bit more in the old model.
Page up.
Page up, yeah. You might have to unpause the game or at least frame advance.
10.
10, okay, yeah.
So page up again to lock it back.
Yep, exactly.
So 2.1 deficit format. Okay.
And you're not like super duper offset. You're not really far from any given
No,
tower.
I
Just
thought I'm closer than if I was in that far corner where you suggest.
yeah.
Damn it, I did
Uh,
not.
somebody asked, is there a minimum? Yes, I don't remember if it's 0.25 or 0.1, but towers won't go below some floor. They won't go all the way to zero. I think it might be 10%. A lot of things have to contribute to get it that low, though. The function is a 1/1 plus distance function, so it asymptotically approaches zero.
I think you're being bombarded somewhere else.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Discord or
Oh,
something.
yeah. That's just my phone catching up to the message you posted on Discord earlier saying there's a
Oh,
stream. Just my
I
phone letting me know I'm in a stream.
really don't want to lose it. Come on. There we oh heck.
It's the other thing about progressive pricing. Those explosions matter more now.
For sure they do. Oh man. This is a hard
Oh,
map to start
that.
with.
Yeah. And you haven't hit the 4 minute mark yet, so yeah.
See, I think I started badly. I think I want to restart.
Yeah, I basically started on the square plateau, and
I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to start there. I just want to build my towers though.
yeah, 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 exactly. You're used to the the older economy where it's a little more generous. You have to go just a tiny bit slower now. I did bump the default tower 100% efficient tower rate from point 0.4 to point 0.5. So it's a 20 or 25% increase, depending on how you do the division, um, on a 100% full soylent tower. Of course, the problem is you don't always have full soylent, and you don't have 100% on most towers. Only the ones very near the lab.
I think what's going to be important is that when the drop off starts
Mm-hmm.
and how steep it is,
Yep. Yep.
and you know that Carmack philosophy that we both subscribe to.
Big. Yeah.
big changes.
Big changes, yeah.
And I think that's probably what you did, yes.
Yeah, I think it's set to a path distance of 50 halves the efficiency. So once the path distance is 50, you'll be at 50% efficiency on a tower, and that's not straight line. As the crow flies, it's path distance.
We talked about the unportal energy thing yet, increasing the energy gen cap, right?
Yes, it should. I haven't.
If I can get my unportal bolt, you're going to give me some extra energy.
It give you extra energy, and it will increase that cap from 20 to 25. I did not test that. That was the last change I made. And it was one of those, hey, this is only 3 lines of code. What can go wrong with 3 lines of code? It's just simple math.
Oh, look at this little guy stretch here. Okay, I'm stubborn. I do not want to yield to your suggestion of building a block because I'm thinking these blocks are going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
To get to the line.
All right. Somebody said they don't like this idea. Which specific idea are you talking about?
It's Peter saying that.
It is, yes, yeah. Because I think there's four things at play here: distance-based, energy lowering energy with distance. Okay, that one.
A lot of people don't like a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, this is how these things go. Of the changes so far, it's the one I sort of kind of liked. And I can tell you the only reason so far, and I don't judge anything on 2 missions or 1.5, because that's not enough to judge it on. The only reason is because it gives me a reason to think about where I locate the lab other than pure safety. It gives me some other competing goal than just put it in the safest location. It gives me a reason to relocate in the first few minutes, sometimes to a more central location. That's the only thing that I found compelling about it. That and the shading looks a little cooler than when it's all one solid green, but but I'm pretty sure I could do the shading with no actual gameplay effect if I really wanted to.
Yeah, I did try and tell him about dual effect, but I think he was taking the knuckle. More severe in extraterrestrial.
Mm-hmm.
Getting closer to my energy limit, not going so far. And I'll get better as soon as I get this one little. Building a. Yes, I'm able. Okay. Energy. See the capture.
We should. It will ramp up as the efficiency goes. So it should approach 25 over the next minute once the urn docks.
You know what? It's easier visually to see that these miners are built or not built. Of course, what I need is to know things are going to go.
Yeah, they go bad fast. You'll have one urn left that you can deploy on like a mortar or something.
Maybe I'll just overall boost everybody's. I think that maybe that's good. There we go. This guy's came online for energy. Oh, look at this. I've been wasteful. Energy. There's a calendar. $3 minutes for the units attacking.
4, I think it's 4 minutes. So you have an eternity. You've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
What? About 20 seconds?
2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, an eternity.
This guy is going to protect that. Oh, energy positive. I don't want to go spend time, but I have to. Leave it like.
So the changes that I've not evaluated at all really is I've not played a large mission, so I don't know how the overall reduction of all towers based on map size affects stuff. I've also not played. It's a medium-sized mission where the generation cap really might start to matter. On the small map, you're going to hit it, but you probably won't have to exceed it. I think you can win this map with certainly once you get to 25 for your cap. But I still have to evaluate that.
At NZ, you want to keep an eye on.
Right, as the efficiency goes up, we'll see if that number goes up.
I'm going to have to build this Topia and pull out some. And where am I building some? I'm still energy positive. That's actually really, really up. It's just being very careless initially. Remind you, I haven't bought any missiles. It should come very, very.
Terps. Oh yeah, I did change terps, and I didn't test it. So they are hopefully they are half as fast as they used to be.
You fix none of the things in the issues.
Right. So if I got it wrong, they're actually going to be twice as fast. So I doubled the number. I just didn't bother looking at the code to see if the number was multiplied or divided by. So I don't know if I doubled the speed or half the speed.
I think you did it the other way around.
Well, the excavation time, I didn't touch that one,
Okay.
But the land.
I'm honestly not watching the chat.
Oh, okay, yeah, there was a bug. See, I knew 3 lines of code. One of them was a brace, yet I still made a mistake. I forgot to divide by 30. So your generation is 80. Your cap is 80 right now.
Thank you.
So yeah, and it's going to go higher.
Really?
It will, yeah. It's because I added 5, not 5/30ths. I was thinking in terms of per second, not per frame. So I was supposed to add 5/30ths, not 5, for a fully upgraded earned energy upgrade. So it should go up to 170, maybe.
Just okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to take it out. No point.
Well, it doesn't matter right now, and you might need that energy.
No, no. It's not. It kind of invalidates. This guy's supposed to be always on. I have blue-eyed. Why? Here we go. Oh, it's. And when you need him to fire, he's really not firing. Oh, he's not always on.
I think you're close to stable. You have the 3.5 relief factor cutting in. It keeps it from getting worse.
What was that number?
The emit mode cut off.
Oh.
In the bottom left, I see it toggling in that range, yeah. And your graph is flat. So as long as you can hold that line and survive what comes in 45 seconds. So you've got a couple snipers here and there and a missile launcher.
Many snipers.
Oh, okay.
Waiting for these missiles to finish building.
Yeah.
Very slow to. Did I just change one of these guys? On this boat.
You got 27 seconds. You might get one or two built.
Oh, the missiles is probably more important.
Just depends. When I played, or the first time I tried playing, I had a missile tower on top of the square mesa, and I'm like, and a missile and a spore targeted there, and I'm like, I'm good. And then I took my eye off of it, and then I looked back, and a skimmer had detonated and had stunned the missile tower. That missile tower came online like right after the spore hit.
You're going to get so many curses. This time, right now. This guy. Oh, look at this. Okay, this one will take that.
Yeah, you're good on that. And the other ones are going to hit nowhere.
There's
so the spores are fine.
Skimmer's coming this way, and oof, he dies.
Okay.
I think I dodged the bullet.
You did. Now the blobs are sneaking their way over somewhere.
Yeah, the blob.
Okay, it's coming over. Okay.
Is this a pathfinding thing that they always walk on top of one another?
It is, and so when they spawn, they tend to have different targets, but the way to get to that target involves a lot of potential overlap. So they don't do pathfinding on the same grid that the game exists on. It's a more granular grid, so it's a coarser grid that causes them to walk on top of each other a lot. And it was sort of an accident, and I came to like it because you never know if there's 1, 2, or 3. And I actually like it when they hit your units and they destroy your units. Right now, they just do damage. And for some units, that means instant death. And for other units, it just means damage. And I'm pretty strongly considering them making them just be one hit is one kill. Because that's their only real threat is when they run into your units. And that's when it's most exciting, when they come in and they take out a cannon or a mortar or a tower or a pylon, and then that has an impact.
You know what the worst thing is that I think what I'm finding now is I'm almost reluctant to build a tower because I know it's not going to get in.
Not as much, yeah. Now, NICANT just said, now this is true, this is currently true. Pylons do increase the efficiency of towers because they reduce the
forgot about that. Hey,
they will reduce the calculated distance to the left.
And you made them cheap. At least you didn't make them more expensive.
They're not progressive, yeah. So as those pylons build, you'll see the green change color.
There we go. That's how I'm going to get more.
A pylon's path is basically twice or half the distance of an equivalent path because it's actually more than it's 3 times, I think. It might even be 4. I don't remember what the constant is, but it's calculated network distance. So from a lower perspective, you might say the lines are just more efficient. They have less resistance. They're closer to superconducting. And the micro rifts, of course, cut the distance to zero. So if you build a micro rift exactly near towers, they all jump to 100% or very close to it. The distance is near zero near a micro rift.
Okay. Why is it so bad? You make a note of that portal book.
Oh yeah. That one I won't forget.
I have too many autos to. Oh, this is not terrible. So I bought all so let's have a look at this guy. Look before and after. He's back at 73%. Little guy. 49%. That is a big difference.
It's a notable difference, yeah. Remember, too, you can select one tower and then select all towers. After you've done that, select all of unit, and the number that it shows you for efficiency is the average of whatever.
Yeah, 83%.
So you're at 83%. That's not bad. That's
No.
pretty good. Anything above 80 is pretty much killing it. It's better than the old game because remember,
yes,
everything's 20.
You gave me some extra.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm very posy because. Did I do all of it? I hope so. I haven't put a hotkey for the enhanced array left. I should have an N. I dug out an N. So what did I use it? I used it. I don't know.
You got 3 in the portal.
Oh yes, I would gave one. Why? I'm on a careful. Yeah. I think I'm going to win this. I don't have a problem anymore. I think because of the nature of what these islands do, I think I can spam them. You should not let me do that. Because they give me energy. Now, effectively, what you're saying, I spam them, you give me energy.
They become a proxy tower.
And that is wrong.
Because they decrease network distance.
So you should put that back. So, this wasn't a terrible start at all, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you started in a defensible location and held the line. The
There's a song about
hmm, I was walk the line. As I was thinking, Johnny
it. Well,
Cash. Yeah,
that's a Johnny Cash.
yeah. There might be another one. I don't
No,
know.
no, no, no. That's the one. And
Hmm.
yeah, they will come. So now that I'm settled, what am I going to do? Where are all the towers here? Let me see if I remember my keys. Oh, see, no. See? Not. Oh, there we go. Alt C, I'm right. No spares. So there's a. Wow, they really badly. I'll have a reclaim victory before I have the.
Hmm.
I seem to. I don't know if it's my fingering that's not. I think I should get a missile up here in the front. I think people would mostly complain again about because they feel they need a lot of missiles. The
Hmm.
general consensus of comments I'm reading is that a lot of people continue to spam missiles. And it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah, it's always, and this is the tension in the game design. People's inclination, my inclination, everybody's inclination is that you want more. You always want more. More of everything is better. If you put a dessert in front of me, I want more sugar. I want more cream. I want more fruit. I want all more chocolate. I want more. Right? It's always more. Don't limit.
Until you ruin the dish.
Right? Right. Right up to the point where it's actually not as good. But it always seems like more chocolate would make it better, but it's simply not true. So the trick is to find ways to put interesting limits, interesting constraints. What happened on the hill? What nightmare? Looks like Armageddon right now.
Rob,
Oh, a whole cluster of those things.
did I not have any? Oh, it could have been worse, actually.
Okay, all right. Just a couple blobs, and they were taking towers out, so it looked worse than it was.
Took some other units too. Hey, look at that. I've exceeded my energy cap. Now I need to build
You are. You need a transformer now. Yeah. Back in the structure menu.
and this again. Okay, what the heck? There's no. Do they cost structure more?
No, they're flat. 50 arg.
Oh yeah, they don't move. So.
Right.
Ryan Wood said something. Do you want to look at that and answer him?
Straight up scaling cost based on amount built, then that is probably fine. If it isn't that,
It is that.
it is that, at least in this build. it's the whatever they were called, the Tech Dome and Creep World 2 model. The more you have, the more they cost. And it applies to the movable units in this build. Now, amount built or amount existing?
So what, you only gave me 3 more for this guy?
Amount existing. That's right. You get 3 per. Yeah, so it's not how many you've ever built; it's how many exist. So if you lose half of your cannons, the replacements are going to cost less than if you kept all of those cannons sitting around. So the game looks at how many cannons exist, and then when you build the next cannon, and uses that to calculate what the cost of the additional one is. And for a cannon, it's 2. The cost increases by 2. For small values, like less than 10 cannons, it doesn't make a huge difference. It only starts to really become a notable factor when you start getting a lot of cannons. It can make cannons exceed the cost of a mortar. If you've built no mortars and you've only built cannons, it can incentivize you to move cannons that are sitting in the back on vacation, bring them to the front line, put them back to work. It can do that because it's not really the build cost that matters. Sometimes it's the build time. When you've got plenty of energy, you don't care if something costs X or 2X if you've got plenty of energy. But you might care that it takes twice as long to build.
No, operational cost is not in. I could swear I had a spray on top. Did I lose it at some point in time?
Yeah, I don't recall. I mean, all your anti-creepers down in the valley.
Yeah, looks like it never was. Maybe in the first run through I tried. And I forgot in the second. See, where this is going to get me is on snipers. I'm never comfortable with not having tons of snipers. Sorry. What happened? This poor little island is really under attack.
Yeah, responding to comments. Yes, right now the build time increases just because it costs more. It's not that the packet request rate slows down based on the number of units. It's just that some units cost more. Consequently, they take longer to build because the build packet request rate is fixed at 2 per second. So all of these changes together, each being evaluated separately and together, are to deal with the general balance of the economy. What units cost, how long they take to build, how much energy you can produce, how you produce that energy. they're all related to the core economy. Now the progressive pricing also applies to the wares other than energy, but that since progressive pricing is only given to movable units, that only impacts the terp. Well, no, the shield and the beacon. They're movable and they require something other than energy to construct. So it's, at least in this build, it's mostly an energy thing, but it still applies to wares. One observation. Go ahead.
Sorry, I can. Sorry. Just want to say, I really think these things should be at least 5. I don't want to just have to sit here and spam 20.
Oh, you mean what they yield?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just not. Otherwise, I'm gonna. So you should go back to my curve. Seriously, if I end up with 20, I just get energy.
Mm-hmm. So what you want is a more expensive, bigger yield.
Yes.
Yeah, I biased it on the low end. That's why it only gives 3, and it's fairly cheap as long as you have ARG.
Then I'm just spamming them.
Yeah.
No point
right.
at all.
Yeah, this comes back to that whole factory discussion on Discord earlier today. Just the necessity to just build a whole bunch of little things to just get you to what you really want becomes a sort of a disincentive. It's because this game straddles a line in terms of.
Don't die.
Oh yeah, you got a problem there.
This is not sustainable. Too many. Need to comment it down. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go back to.
Oh, I don't remember what I was going to say.
We're talking about the factory, the idea of the factory.
Yeah. So similar thing. You remember when we had those fabs that would do things, and you had to build 5 or 6 of them to get stuff done.
Because I just used to slam them all down straight off.
Right. It becomes this thing you would do every mission. You just have to build these 6 things.
But you see, this is exactly. Look at this. I don't think this is unplayable at all. I don't really feel that energy caps are. Anything that is noticeable is perhaps the cost of the units, and even now, even that is not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in terms of time or something. No, how much one thing to have in.
Ghosts count. So yeah, you can't. Somebody's asking on the chat. You can't cheat by building 50 cannons at once. It factors that in.
That's such an obvious cheat. Nobody would not ever.
Yeah, I can't say I got its implementation perfect. It took 2 hours to do this morning, but I got up at 7. Got up a little early just to. I got to work at 7, just so I could do that and not have to worry about it. I knew that would be one of the more irritating things when you drag build a line of cannons. All of those additional ones that you're building are called, in the code, they're called secondary ghosts. They're handled differently than the primary because they dynamically have to come and go based on where you're pointing the destination to. So they have to they have to know how many were in the line previous to them to calculate the cost on new ones.
I just shot myself in the foot, very nice. I had to build a microwave which sucked out all my arg.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
That means I'm going to lose missile weapon.
What's your tower efficiency, your total tower efficiency right now?
74.
74. Okay. All right.
I can try. Either, I almost didn't even want to do this. I can try putting a different realizing.
That'll make, I think, minimal difference. You get a bigger bang if you actually moved your lab forward to park it on those green R fields that more centrally, just in that area. You can watch the gen. You're at 31.4 right now. We'll see that go up.
It's going to change dynamically.
It should, yeah, as it moves.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not bad. Yeah, you picked up a few by minimizing your distances.
No, this is a strategic choice. Go sit on your resources.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna have to play some. It's doing what it's supposed to do now. Whether it's a good for the game or not, I don't know yet. I still don't know. Part of the goal was that it not be noticeable for new players, that it not be something a new player even necessarily thinks about. When you just first sit down and play the first 5 missions, you're not going to care about tower efficiency. You're not even going to notice. You might notice that the green is different, but you're going to think it's all energy. And you're right, it is all energy, and you'll have plenty of it in an easy mission. As you advance into an intermediate and then an advanced player, then it becomes another mechanic that you can take advantage of to so that was sort of the goal with the distance-based energy production, and it seems to be doing that right now. I mean, you didn't have to move that lab. You could continue your advance. You just picked up a few more energy. Now it's above your current cap, so you're not actually realizing it yet. But yeah, you won't. Those will take a while because your ARG is limited, I guess. But
Oh, what did I do? Did I just turn all the light? No, they're turning off. I think I'm gonna just do the. I can finish. I know I'm going to finish this, but I'm going to leave it here. Go play something else.
Okay.
Just to
Do
see.
a save.
Yes.
If you,
Just because I know I'm going to be able to do. But I want to go and see one of those eggs. So I think the one that most people will notice it. Oh, no. This is my version of the diminution, and it's really hard. All right, I'm going to try it on if I can do it on that way. Because yeah, energy matters so much. Wait, something went wrong. Why do I not have a... Did you move the rift labs? No.
Why don't you have a button to put the lab down? It's a good question. It might be look at the log time.
I'm starting up the...
Since that was a saved mission, maybe something broke with mission loading. Something changed. Somebody says, my problem with these changes is that the worst part of Creep World games in general is when you have to sit and wait for something to happen. Each of these changes seem like they would increase how often those times happen. Maybe. I guess I could analyze that by saying, well, what would decrease when those happen? What would be the opposite changes? And would they make the game better? Because I could make things happen quicker, but most of the things that would make the game happen quicker, at least on the face of it, seems like they would remove something from the game. Let's say energy was unlimited. There was no limit. It was you always had all the energy that you wanted. Then units would, of course, always build at their production rate. But that doesn't necessarily seem as interesting. So you have finite energy, which is a limit, which produces a problem. So are you not getting a button?
No, and now interesting enough when I say restart it, offering to restart it. Let me try some other thing. Let's see.
You're going to need to look at the log because I'm not seeing...
There's nothing in the log.
There's nothing in the log. Unpause the game. Just unpause it right now.
That's weird.
I didn't see a scan, an initial sweep of the map. And there was nothing in the log? Nothing?
Oh, I may look again. You know what? I'm going to quit the game. Get out of the game.
Yeah, take a look. Yeah, copy the log or...
Checking through the log. There we go. There's something there.
Okay.
Now I have an invalid argument.
Okay. That must be on a load.
I'm going to create world thread number. I'm sending you the log.
All right, I'll take a quick look here. Just pop it over on Discord, and I'll see if there's a way to...
See if I can find Discord. My Windows out. You know, I don't know how people cope with it. I have two, and it's not.
Somebody says, same guy, XSYQ, says, I don't see what the incentive is to further limit energy unit count. Now, that's the core question. Why are we evaluating anything at all? Isn't the game fine as it is? And the short answer is it might be. But it seemed on the face of it like energy seemed to be just a little too easily had in most missions. and that the most of the time that energy tended to matter in a mission, it was at the very beginning. And once you were beyond that, on 9 out of 10 maps anyway, that energy was something you didn't need to care about too much. So the natural inclination is to say, well, maybe towers just need to be rebalanced a little bit. They produce a little less energy overall. These are just more sophisticated ways to evaluate that same idea. So the distance production idea came from, instead of just lowering all towers from point 4 to point 3, it says don't do that. Lower them based on their distance. So it's actually raise them and then lower them on a curve based on distance. It's the same. It's approaching the same problem. That did energy need to be rebalanced? That was the incentive for that one. Let me take a look at the log while I'm running my mouth.
I'll see. Maybe I can.
Build.
If I seem to load a new map from the Mark V, it works. It seems to be somewhere about save. I'm saving.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I know
I guess the new stuff isn't in the save files. The old save.
It's not, and that's my bad. I should fix that. Anytime I add a new field, starting at some point months ago, I always make sure to condition it so that if it's not in the save, the save doesn't fail just because a new field's not there. It makes old saves forward compatible. I didn't do that with the build unit manager, which is I can fix that in lickety split. It'll take longer to do the build than it will to fix it.
I will entertain people, but up to this. Then what is lava? When Techie asked if we can create lava. Well, we haven't have lava in the game, so not sure. Oh, Danny, transformer is the thing that raises the energy cap. Am I behind times here? See, somebody answered it. What's going on? No, there's no provision custom creeper. At one point in time, Knucklecracker entertained that idea. I don't know what happened. I guess you could say it fell on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, you can't have like 3 types of creeper, all different colors. Not in this game, anyway. You can change the creeper physics. Its viscosity, whether it has waves, propagation speed. There's 3 parameters that control it. You can change that from scripting. You can change that from just the game menu. So if you want to recreate Creeper World 3 Creeper, you can do that. And you could, from scripting, change it dynamically during a mission. But you can't have multiple types. There's Creeper, and there's Anti-Creeper, and there's the physics that control it.
How was it so bad? Again, oh Danny, there's too much energy on the map, so people just spam a bunch of stuff. That's why we limit and want to limit. There's no point if one of the primary, in my mind, challenges of Creeper World is to manage your energy. If you don't have to do that, the game is less. So I raised it as an issue as a result. I think I raised it. Knuckle Cracker will tell me if he was.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got my mic muted.
No, you
yeah.
do what you need to do. I'm just yakking. I much prefer you do the stuff you do. Excuse me, right now. Interesting to see where my time was. You see how the colors change. Not near the anti-creeper is creeper. I don't actually know what the mechanic was that Knuckle Cracker used for the Crimson Creeper. If it's based on the terrain values. Oh no, don't use this. Are you going to fix that energy and thing as well?
Yeah, I just fixed it. I'm just checking it right now. I fixed the load problem, and then I've just changed that energy upgraded, and then I've just made the transformer cost 150, but it gives you 10, so it tripled its cost and its output. I just got to check to make sure I didn't screw up I got right the gen increase.
Look how dark the gen field is.
What efficiency are those guys at? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, let's try to help these little. Okay, now let's. I know. board. Okay, just for the jokes, I'm going to build this line of relays. Put that color, check the efficiency overall. Overall, I'm at 31%. Well, I mean, if you have to think harder on what units you have and where you have, and how long it's going to take you to build them, that's, to my mind, that's strategy. Of course, you might disagree with me. Don't do anything. But now it becomes that even maybe if you think one weapon is less effective than another one, you will build it because it's cheaper and faster. I've not bought any different field. I use the easy loophole. That's the one that's boosted by an earn upgrade. Green one is your eco value. I get that for the green trees. And the plus zero is if I put an earn into the energy cost. But we know that that is both. So
All right, I have a new build cooking right now. Give it 5 or 10. It'll be up on Steam. And I checked loading one old mission, so a pre-existing mission should load.
oh, I used all my. That's so much.
Yeah, I've about decided whether we keep this distance-based energy production. I'm going to keep the shading, whether it has a gameplay impact or not. I'm still going to keep that.
I got up from
shading.
35% to 64%.
Right.
By
yeah.
loading this row of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, people are talking about where this build's available on. Yeah, this is just our testing build. However, I can say that whenever I'm done evaluating these things, there probably will be one more demo build that will get some of these changes rolled into it. Whether I will push it into the main branch on Steam, or you have to flip over to beta and pick on something else. Or I may do both. I'll do the beta first, but one of the reasons I want to make a new build of the demos available is there's a newer version of Unity that I compiled against. that may fix some rare crash issues that people have, particularly on shutdowns. Sometimes the game will crash for some folks when they're exiting the game. I'm curious if that one is addressed by the newer version of Unity. I use the long-term support 2018.4 build of Unity. Oh, you got an egg in there. Ouch. Yeah.
Oof. I still haven't bought my.
Yeah, so El Danny 2001. When that new build goes up, whenever that is in the next week or so, the new demo build, check to see if you cease to notice crashes on exit. I'm really curious about that. I give it about a 5% chance that their new build addresses that. Boy, that is one giant mess right there in the middle of your base.
Like it, right?
Yeah.
These
When
guys are,
something
for
gets
some reason, really hard to complete today. Well, I spam them and I'm paying the price for spamming them.
Yeah, I like it when Creeper gets behind your front lines like that. So, but it's not terminal, right? You had
a vindication of your. Come on, guy, turn on. Okay.
You just need to get that totem activated. You've got the green R almost, or getting it. Yeah. Just hook up to that totem there.
I have green R, but 26. Yeah. I need to back up.
It may take a couple times depending on the eggs that keep coming in there.
It was a painful lesson in keeping my eye on the ball business. You heard my plea for a button.
You want a key for it?
A plea that says, please let me, in the visibility option.
Oh, visibility. Okay.
Please let me, oh man, what? It's not getting very, very unmanageable. Oof, this is a huge weight. What? Did I kill eggs here or something? What's going on? Okay. Let me, if I'm playing full screen, I can't minimize it. If I can, let me open from. Doesn't show me, I guess I'm gonna have to restart Steam to get that update.
It's not there yet.
Oh,
okay. It's still building.
Base saving, quick exit. I lost a tower here.
Yes, network distance accounts all three axes. So it's the three-dimensional network distance, factoring in line efficiency as well. Custom units these are things popping up in chat. Custom units can be things that appear in the editor build menu optionally. They can be things that appear in the leftmost unit menu optionally. They can be added to any of the 4 existing tabs. They can be added to a special 5th custom tab. Whenever there are more than 5 or 6 buttons in one of those leftmost tabs, then you get a scroll button at the top and bottom. So there can be potentially any number of buttons in one of those tabs for structure, weapon, air, special, or custom. In practice, there won't be a large number because nobody wants to scroll through a giant list of things, I don't think. So I imagine most custom units will appear in the custom tab, but
Next sniper I build will cost 90.
sorry, I had to mute my mic. Yeah, I got some piano practice going on in the background.
Hey, this is no game music.
Yeah. if you wanna listen to scales.
So all the game sounds off at the moment. People do want to listen.
I'm reminded of when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. I had this puzzle, and it was a mechanical puzzle. It was based on gray binary codes. That's what it was based on. Of course, when they sold the puzzle, they didn't advertise that. But gray binary codes. So it's a sequence of numbers, and right. It was
that brain thing you did in
that thing exactly. Oh yeah, I forgot I stuck that in Creep World 3, the Brainiac or the Brain mission. Yeah, it's that puzzle. So I wrote a version of that when I was like 9th grade or something, just a kid, and I did it in assembly, x86 assembly. So it was like 300 bytes big, and I could put it on the boot sector of a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk and stick it in a old DOS machine, and you reboot it. Then you just turn the computer off and on or hit the reboot button, and so the disk drive would come up, you'd hear it go thunk, and it would load that one sector, and then it would load that puzzle, and it was totally keyboard controlled, of course, but it takes I think it's 180, I forget the exact number, 180 keys have to be pressed in just the right sequence in order to complete that puzzle. And me and a buddy in high school would compete to see how fast we could do that. And the record we were able to get was like about 13 and a half seconds. And I could easily, not even paying attention, do it in 16 and 17 seconds when I was 13, 14, 15 years old. So I came back to that. It's been a year or two, but years have passed, and I realized that my fingers just cannot move that fast anymore. So listening to my son do scales, he can do this thing so fast. It's ridiculous. And without even trying, he can just, the fingers just fly. They're like a blur. And I played piano, but I try as hard as I can. My fingers just will not move that fast anymore.
That was a major setback. Some eggs must have exploded in the void. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about some point in time, but that thing about bold something and always bold them?
Right.
The beacons and the denier. The denier needs to be, I don't know what, needs to be more aggressive.
Something, yeah, I saw some ideas on Discord, other things it could do.
They were just, okay, fair enough. I didn't know they were ideas there.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was only an idea. I don't know how big the discussion was. Yeah, one of the early ideas was that it essentially crimsoned or the creeper that was under it, hardened it, making it harder to deal with.
Horrible.
Yeah, it would. An area that large that is hardened creeper, you'd really have to lay some fire onto it.
I'm not really in the mood to terraform for this resource yet. You're still gonna terraform. No, again, no, you haven't told me yet. The bull's still not there?
Oh, the build is finished. I was too busy watching you play.
I'm too busy.
Yeah, the diff is only 9.2 meg, so you'll only have to download 9.2 meg, which means Steam will take just as long. It will do 99% and then will sit there.
So it's uploaded?
It's there now, yeah.
I don't know about streams. What should I do? Just kill the stream? In 10 minutes? Or?
I guess that's fine. You could keep it going.
Or I have a logo thing. I could just put the logo up.
Yeah, you could do that. In theory, it shouldn't take long for you to get the update, but yeah. Just add the image source. There you go. No, you need a please stand by. One of those old.
I don't know. What are you seeing? The
I see the Creeper 4 logo. Yeah.
And I'm going to get an autosave if I leave. Yeah.
You get the only time you get an autosave is when you leave leave to return to the main menu. I don't have an application close handler yet.
That's so okay. I did actually return to the main menu.
Okay. Yeah, cue elevator music. Exactly. I was thinking, was it Girl from Ipanema, the Muzak version? Elevator music. Or I remember PBS stations in this country, all through the 70s and 80s, they would start shows at the top of the hour, or the bottom of the hour, and they would, but a lot of times their shows weren't 20 minutes. They were 20 minutes long because they had expected there to be commercials in them. But they didn't have, so there was only 20 minutes of television show, but they needed to wait to the bottom of the hour to start the next show. So they would show like some nature scene and play music for 10 minutes. And I'm like, you couldn't come up with anything better than to spend 10 out of every 30 minutes just showing some nature scene. Yeah, exactly. The ad waste of ad space. That was the thing. PBS stations didn't run ads. They either weren't allowed or was against their principles. But yeah, so the shows were made 20 minutes so they could have 10 minutes of commercials, but they couldn't run commercials. So it was just show nature at the very end. Speaking of PBS, here in the U.S., if for anybody who is into over-the-air television, it's been ongoing for like a year and a half now. Stations periodically moving to new frequencies. A few of the stations around here just shifted. They did it right before July 4th. The music in the demo is part of the official music.
Okay, do you have a board number for this new board?
It should say BAL2 on the end.
And we're back with BAL2.
That's it, yep.
Missionary. There we go. That was there. Little guy is here.
Okay. Well, that part's good.
Now,
on to the next problems.
What we know about I don't know if you've ever seen me do this map. Put some breather terrain here. And I increased the limit for cutoff.
I see.
These
the
towers,
maps.
these mesas wall flat.
It's just harder in the purest sense, more creeper.
Yes. Oh, first question. Pause button too. Oh, but it's a good thing I've noticed. Not any badly, but Gemcraft games. I noticed that guy. There's no two keys next to one. If you accidentally press, you don't press another key.
Mm-hmm.
You noticed that? I think he spent so much time in that little careful design thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want this tower right now. In fact, I'm not sure I want this tower right now, but let's go. %40 efficiency. Great. Do you have a number somewhere that tells me the efficiency?
It's so if you build a tower right next to or very, very near the lab, and look at its efficiency, that's the efficiency of the map, because it normally would be 100%. So if it's not 100%, then that shows you the map efficiency handicap. I didn't take pains to put it in the UI
Okay, what I'm
yet.
thinking where you may want to put it is in the map creation dialog.
Yeah, it would be a good place, yeah.
To tell the person who makes a map what his map is going to be set.
Right, yeah. Yeah, click that tower next to your lab now to see what his efficiency is, and that becomes the maximum efficiency. It's 100%, yeah. So even on this map, you're still fine. It's still a moderately sized map, I think. I think the surface area needs to be above 20,000. Yeah, all of the units right now have inherited a display that shows what they cost to build. That's what that little 5 is over the tower. I'm just showing that on everything right now, and I put it in so that you could see the progressive cost, but it got inherited by the build ghost, so everybody shows it right now, and I don't know if I'll keep it. Assuming I even keep progressive pricing, I don't know if I'll keep it. In fact, the only thing I have decided I am going to keep so far is the coloring, the shading. That's a keeper. I might have spent 2 days, and the only thing I get out of it is a subtle shade of green. But worse, I've spent my time worse in the past. So.
Hey, little thing is online, so I should tiny drips of. In this build, I can't keep things away here with one. Okay, I think I might lose this again. I lose it about 1 out of every 3 times I play. If this wave kicks up, I'm lost.
Right. Yeah. And it's going to real soon, right? Well, yeah, I see it coming. So it should be easier to lose now because yeah. Oh yeah, you got just a little there. Yeah, that might make all the difference.
You see these tiny little green flecks?
Yeah.
I put resource terrain in there for that.
I see. I was noticing that earlier. Yeah. I'm like, what is?
I think that's cruelty.
Somebody build a miner to get 1 square or 1 or 2 squares of resource.
Okay, I need some missile. Very unprotected in the back. Okay, if I get to somewhere on here, oh, I think I'm gonna quit this. I've tested this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I wanted to try that really big map.
It's our rendering issue. The numbers that show were clipped by the creeper. It's just a Z order.
Yeah, it's just there was somewhere else. I think on Taurus. Is it on Taurus?
Yeah, that's where I saw
it a while back, and I just thought I wasn't going to tell you about it.
Yeah, it's
because it doesn't matter. I really don't care other things.
Yeah, it's one of those things, where people play the game for like 400 hours on Steam, play all the missions, come back 2 months later, and are like, "Yeah, I played the game. It was awesome, but," and then they give it a thumbs down over one trivial issue. I was going to place a tower once, and I couldn't see the whole number unless I rotated 2 degrees. Until they fix this, it's thumbs down.
Yeah, and then it never comes back to do the thumbs up.
And yeah.
Look at this weird path. That's nice. I think maybe no wave will come up here. I still have to learn my key map. Waves aren't too dangerous.
So the tower distance on the network is what determines its the color of its soilant and correspondingly the efficiency. So you can think of the network paths as electrical lines that have resistance. So the further it is, the less power makes it back to the lab, and that is visually shown with the green soilant. The lighter the green, the more efficient. The darker the green, the less efficient. That's where that green coloring comes from.
The piano is conclude.
Yeah, Grabs mentioned something I thought about. It's just was a royal pain to reevaluate. It's that sometimes when you build 2 towers next to each other and they have overlapping soilant, they sort of compete which cells they're going to colonize. One of those towers probably will be closer to the lab and thereby have greater efficiency. You would prefer that it colonize its maximum area before the other one does. But that evaluation does not change. It happens at their population time. You could take one offline and manually recolonize, but it's not reevaluated automatically. It's generally a small difference, assuming that you have overlapping soilant areas in the first place. I thought about that too, reversing the shading. Lighter is weaker and darker is better, but and I may look at it and see what it looks like. Since the only thing I know for sure I'm going to keep is the shading difference, I'll see which way looks better, especially if it ends up not having. Oh, you're going to lose that hill, or maybe not. How much anti?
What's happening here? Okay.
You've got that growth area, that anti-creeper growth is what's helping you.
Yeah. those blobs were here. Other towers are not built. I think I'm going to get hit in the teeth. That's my efficiency, 78. That's close enough to the original, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really similar. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the sort of the crux. I can build a couple of things here. No, there goes. Bye bye, little temple. So nice now. Oh no, no.
Oh yes. Remember that discussion about the one of the reasons there's a factory? No, they're not done yet. What else are they going to take out?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I've got like 5 screenshots like this over the course of the last several years where there's a factory ascending to Stovocore like that up into the sky. It's always funny when you see that.
That hurts. This really hurts.
Well, you're sort of okay. You're still okay, right? Most of Andy creepers coming from the breeder terrain.
Oh yeah, the anti-creeper is not my problem. It's losing everything else here. Because now I'm starting to lose stuff on the front line.
Yeah, you're
Now,
gonna have
if I
to.
do
You better
lose
back
this, I
up.
cannot.
Once you
Lost
start a retreat.
everything. No, there's one more to. What? That hurt. That was rude. This is where I probably would like to hope that the random numbers are more in my favor next time.
Yeah, may the odds be ever in your favor. You're fine. That breeder creeper is kind of is the difference,
No,
right?
this breeder creeper can and will get overwhelmed.
Yeah, and you're weak on mortars there. And
Can't
well,
slam them back.
good news. Things should be cheaper now.
If I had any energy to build them, yes. What was it? Page up.
Yeah, a page up will toggle to
Page
see.
up gives me the uninhibited number.
It does. It gives you the where distance doesn't matter. So all your soylent will turn bright green
And
when
that'll be the 20% more.
you got 12.4 if it weren't for the distance calculation.
This is, you see, this is one of the maps where energy is actually critical.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed that way when I made it. Everybody has to fall back here. Terrible. I think I'm going to lose. And just hold a small piece of it. I hold. There was a guy on Steam, I'll tell you when you shouldn't read Steam. Okay?
I usually don't. Yeah.
He's redesigning this mission for us.
Mm. Oh man, that whole plateau's getting.
Yeah, well, trying to get this guy
Yeah.
here, but that's not going to be it. I'm going to give it up for now. If I can just hold. I think if I can just hold the anti. That tower is not going to get me a lot, I think. Need to build something. What should I be building?
Yeah, you're actually mines would work. Another mortar wouldn't hurt. You need them. Yes, pylon connections are shorter regarding the soil. It's just one of the ways they were they were implemented. So the distance the towers use is this. It looks at the same data structures that are used for packet routing, and shorter exactly belongs in quotes because it's mathematically shorter.
This is a killing one. If I survive this one.
All right.
The missile there, that'll take care of that guy. I've got 1 year.
I think you got enough. You got 3 launchers and 3 incoming.
Yeah. And I do not have that too far, Shani. There.
Well, you have a cannon nearby that'll clean some of that up. There's just too many. It's going to overwhelm him. No, he made it. Just barely. But they made it. Oh, you had other launchers over there. I see them now. Yeah. Your old friend's coming for another visit.
Seriously, what is wrong with you? Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Weighted graph.
Okay. I need to have an influx of creeper here that I. No, it's really weak breeder in the back there, but it is so persistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just enough to not go away. This is getting, well, you're at the limit. You're at your 6.7 cutoff, but that is a ponderous mass that you're dealing with there.
I know. I wasn't buying into when you told me to set it low for the demo mission.
Yeah.
Let me. That is much higher limit. I could just walked over. Like I wasn't even on this island at all.
Urns, you don't. Oh, there's no urns on this map.
No.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get less than half, or less than 0.25%. Start building.
Even just one pylon to go from your lab over to that island will help with your production. You can just let it connect directly to the lab. The lab pylon connection will be really really long. Yeah, it's pretty long.
Okay.
That's just the cheapest way to get it done.
But please, I shouldn't have pylons. Already people that say they just pylons, and you've seen that. You have to.
Well, they can be made expensive progressively or even initially.
I just think maybe it progressively is kinder than that only punishes some people. Let me say it only discourages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before these two guys are booked, I'm at 68%. Well, there goes my dog.
Mm.
Every one of us here is in the dog is left out. He doesn't have a voice. And now the two pilots are booked. What did I say last time? 68.
Look, you're 75 now. I see. Yeah. Yeah.
That's decent. And of course on this map, I don't think I get to board any. Oh no, I can board. I'm not made with lifting.
Tricky Dragon came up with speaking of ways to curtail their use. What if pylons had a soylent nullification zone around them?
That is cool.
Yeah, that would be bad. Funny in a funny way.
And every increase of anti-creep is so hair-raising, it really.
No, I know. This is more of a psychological deterrence than anything. Instead of soylent, pylons kill trees.
Well, no,
Yeah,
that's nice, but there's not trees everywhere on the map. So.
that's true. That's true.
But it's not a bad idea if you can do things like that. Okay, I think I'm past a really bad spot. I'm building a cannon and see if I can get my Mesa back. Maybe I'm not past it. How long to wait before this minutes?
Yeah, Grabs says, yeah, I guess you could make the number of pylons proportional to the amount of interruptions you get from Preacher. Build too many pylons and you get a whole sermon from Preacher every 30 seconds.
Actually, maybe Hippie Boy is upset that we're destroying the.
That's true. That's true. Hippie would be pretty mad about him.
I can't decide if I have to fly these guys out or if they're going to survive. Oh, these are 25 away.
Man, there's some serious waves headed towards that mesa.
Yes, that's my problem. I don't think I can afford to lose a single unit. Beautiful it is. Purpose music. Okay, what do you think? I think, okay, let me just check one more time. Pause, page up, 12.6. Double press page up, 14. So,
Mm-hmm.
no,
It's not a huge drop off, right? It's not a
no,
huge.
no, it isn't. So, excuse me. I'm undecided if I should play on or should go throw some other map. I'm kind of inclined to think that I'm going to beat this guy.
I think so, especially if you took that mesa back. It would. I think that would be all she wrote at that point. You're holding it, I guess, because your anti-creeper is surrounding it.
Really.
Even if the pylons did just take out the soil immediately underneath them, in maybe either a 3x3 area or a 5x5, if you wanted to go one outside of that, it's not a huge impact on energy production, but it is a psychological impact. You know that it does cost you something when you put them there. Nothing will ever prevent somebody from just spamming, somebody who only plays with mortars or only plays with cannons or whatever, and that's okay. We don't have to prevent all that. I guess it's just small nudges in one direction or another towards the more enjoyable game.
I always forget this thing about to connect the Rift Lab to Island directly. No, I didn't forget it because I do it, but would have built one close by.
Mm. My dog went off, and we had a dog telegraph over thousands of miles. Because
Yeah,
I heard yours start barking right after mine did.
it was that idea is from the 101 Dalmatians.
It might have been, yeah, yeah. Normally it's the neighborhood back behind. There's a creek behind my house, and then a neighborhood on the other side of it. So it's a good distance, but dogs can still hear each other.
Yes.
So when one goes off, you can hear it go down the line, off into the distance.
I try so hard. And this,
Yep.
it just pushes and it just laughs. Really hard to hold. But I'm slowly gaining on this side. The biggest problem with building these fast too much. My energy is so low that if my snipers fire, you can actually see.
Right. Yeah. See the impact. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that the generation cap hasn't played a factor yet. Right. It's
But that's desirable. I mean,
that was the goal, that it not have an impact at the beginning.
yes.
The question is, you're going to lose a cannon or a mortar. He's sitting in some creeper right there.
Okay. Losing a lot of things.
Mhm. Of course, the question is, what defines the beginning? And is 20 is a nice round number, but should it have been 15? Should you be building a transformer at this point? Should it have been 10? Um,
You see, I mean, I think that some people will make maps like this and other people won't. But I specifically moved one of the red ones out of the way. But you didn't
mhm,
have it earlier. So you're very constrained even for your missile. And
mhm.
what we've just done is to make this guy cost 150.
That's right.
And
He's
I don't
yeah,
have it.
yeah.
And I think that this is the gameplay that I'm looking for.
Hmm.
But
Right.
boy,
It costs. That's true. It costs 150 ARG, and it gives you 10 now. So it's a yeah, yeah.
so you know, so I'm going to kind of say that okay. I can just replenish my missiles. I can definitely not afford to be honest. Let one of these two blue items start taking tempo. But now I'm going to have to do something I've never done before. And that's to build up to here.
Yeah, build a pylon. You didn't.
Thirty, 38%. 30 or 38?
That's 30 right now. That one was.
Let's check overall efficiency. Yes, kind of poor.
It's going to go up though.
I think I'm starting to be able to count on this. But this is also a definite building them slower because
Right.
they're
They
really
cost.
twice as expensive.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And oh, have hover pass on. There are missiles in the first stage.
Mm-hmm.
That one isn't. There's two there.
So
There's not enough here.
you've got anti-creeper there, though, so most of those are going to hit. And you've got these set to target structures, don't you? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So they're always, yeah. Well, if they do take anything out, it's not going to be catastrophic. One made it through, but the anti-creeper absorbed it.
I was watching the blog. This game is so busy that sometimes
Mm-hmm. When you get this multi-attack, which tends to happen when they're on the same interval.
mm-hmm.
Any plans to implement a type of systems view?
What is the type of? Is it the mini-map?
I don't know. I could guess, but maybe the tricky dragon will elaborate.
Maybe the answer is no, because nobody is. Maybe implement things we know about.
It's my Blargen Schnarf says, anybody ever challenge themselves by starting in a map in a worst location? Yeah, I've done that. Yeah. Yep. I do that in testing sometimes to see what other people will experience. To see if sometimes it turns out that it's like you may have experienced, it's actually possible. You think that I'm going to die and I give myself 60 seconds in that location. It turns out you can hold it. And that leads to insight on map design sometimes.
There was a okay. These islands are all built, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What was it before?
Oh,
50,
you're up. Yeah, you're up to 78% now, or
68.
66%. Yeah.
And now I have to find 150.
Yeah, you're capped out. Doesn't matter. Now this is it, unless you can build a transformer.
I'm gonna go and try and take this.
Now you're starved primarily because of all your missiles, I guess. That's what's
Yes,
taking all of it. Yeah.
but this is not bad. Understand me? I'm not
Yeah.
complaining about it. This is the thing I wanted to have, where I have to make serious choices
Mm-hmm.
about what I'm going to do. Now, can I get to that? Because it's critical now for me to get to that second. And it doesn't matter that I go to.
Tricky Dragon says it's a view to highlight your economy or military, top down, showing you the soylent coverage and efficiency and your current weapon coverages. Yeah, I guess sort of the things that come to mind are like the views you get in Sim City. You know, when you want to look at your
Oh, you look at, yes, the different, like you look at your sewage
right,
plumbing systems,
the zones and all that.
electricity
Yeah.
grid. I think that in this map, at least, the most significant. Damn it.
Oh, they're sneaking around the edge or trying to. Somebody just hit somewhere. Yep.
Well, it's the least.
They're avoiding your snipers now, and
Yes.
yeah.
Stop doing that. Getting echo from.
Yeah, those trees in that little valley right there are, when you soil them, yeah, they're worth it. Yeah.
Actually, no, not anymore. They're not.
Oh, you're true. Yeah, nothing's worth it right now. Yeah. Yeah, without increased production, you're not gonna. It would take you a really long time to build that transformer.
Well, I was arguing for the micro rift at 200. I was hoping for. If that holds, I'm gonna eat my hat.
Mm.
I think it'll pop. So glad I don't have a hat. Gosh, it made it.
Yep. Yeah, made it. That gen limit right now is currently hard coded, but if it ends up being something that we keep, it'll probably be configurable so that it, at the very least, could be turned off on some custom maps or made really low on some others. Like a gen of 1 would be a rough start. A gen max of 1 would require you to. It wouldn't matter what you built; you get 1 from your lab. So you'd have to save up 150 ARG to build a transformer before you could expand your economy. That'd be a pretty bad custom map, but
People have been known to make bad customers.
yeah, exactly. That's for somebody else to figure out and experience.
It's like an invitation to people. Please make something that we can all hate. Oh man, come on. Ah. Okay, well.
From an ARG perspective, you probably would be better to not have missile towers anywhere you have sufficient anti-creeper. You can just let the spores hit, or just let the spores hit in the anti-creeper instead of firing missiles at them, because they won't do any real damage in the anti-creeper.
That's a good point.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave. I'm being summoned for a supper, and I don't want to. Yeah.
Supper time.
Yeah.
Okay,
For us, yeah. I'll pause the stream, and so I'll come back and finish watching it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
Later. I guess I'm going to have to watch what goes on in the chat now. Sort of neglecting the chat. It's nice having him here. Hey, if you get a sandwich, send one my way, please. Do with one. Yeah, I know. But what am I going to do now? I'm just going to have to secure terrain, keep pushing the same limited end until I have a good inventory of arc. I'm not going to stop playing. I'm going to invent the arc factory. Probably means not qualifying. Yes, I did change it a lot. The creeper cutoff level is higher. I moved the one of the red ones away back there, and this in your game is not breeder terrain. There's a thin patch of breeder here. Keeps generating, so I have to actively go and fight it. Whereas you can just hold like one or two cannons here and it's all dealt with. It gets exhausted. So basically, I think that. Oh yeah, also I don't hand out the conversion bar. So the tower gets lost, just really effectively lost. Knucklecracker moved the totems. They're close here, you can just shout for it. And he took that emitter in the back off, so some people make fun of land on that plateau. No sprayers. Playing a demo. That's an interesting point. Yeah, everything is here, but I'm not using it. I seem to think I turned it off. I just don't know. It's the same little bit of 107. I'm getting close. You know, you say it's easy, and I think it's easy, the one in the demo, and still, we already at that level, we got kickback from people saying it doesn't fit. Now I'm losing people. Guess I should put all those. See this, I would have done this in a bold way, things just left them. Can we take a pilot out? No, there's a pilot. No, might be a good idea, but it's hard for me to let. I'm running at a slight deficit. Gonna be boring. Oh, hiding. Right now, it's not. You can see here, average is 3.8, is it? So it really isn't. If you look at it, I'm beating it back. Once I get this guy, it's really toast. The Deep Creeper was much earlier in the map because it's 7th. It's not too bad. Okay, let's go. I may not have energy right now to nullify even one of these. You're right. Now, this interesting point. Now it's actually a slog. We're going to go deep as possible. I still think that they should 20 for it. And you sometimes, maybe he's right that 10 is, can live this long with 20, maybe I can live with it. If I can quell this, once I kill this, I can take all these weapons offline. Yeah, I'm actually moving stuff. Progress. Ricky, yeah, you're right. They're not yellow. Oh, that one. This guy came online and I have more energy. Yeah. Hey, the fire come. Let me just put this stuff to getting annoying as heck. Yes, the totem shields are new. Different graphic. Okay. Make a concerted assault for energy. What? You guys left it late. Holy cow. No, not too. Can't take these all away because if something gets through, I need something for cleanup to something crash here. This is now, see the blue? It doesn't generate anti-creeper. It's not like that. Doesn't help. This is creeper generator. The yellow is flip that generates both creeper and anti-creeper. And the white just generates anti-creeper. Okay, I think now I've got this game. Exit this. Oof. And I'll play another one some other time. I need a break as well. So, all of you guys, thanks for watching. Go to the Discord and give some feedback. Let the man know. I think I'll vote for keeping every single one of these. Only thing, the Transformer, give me 20. But thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Goodbye.